Hey there, welcome to day 2553 of What You Up To Now. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Got a little book that my granddaughters love. My daughter would have loved it when she was little, but it's a book called In My Heart, A Book of Feelings by Joe Wittick and illustrated by Christine Rousley. And it is the cutest book about different feelings, which means different emotions, and how we react and respond to them and the impact they have on us, and how we can handle them in a way as children and as adults to make us better human beings and to help to enhance our careers, our businesses, our families, our relationships, etc. So what are some of the ways that being emotionally healthy, having emotional intelligence help to enhance our life? We talked about this both in Supersize Your Business. How can it help us to supersize and grow our business? And how can it help make us a better person? What makes us a better person if we have a little bit of a handle on our emotions, because we are all emotional beings first, and then we react. We either react or we respond. And the difference to me between reacting and responding is reacting means stimulus, response, and react, right? Like stimulus and response. Something stimulates me, I feel something, I immediately react. Not always the best reaction, right? I've added a step in that for me personally. Something happens, I feel it, right? I get some emotions, I take a deep breath, and then I think about how do I want to respond. I give myself time and permission to take a beat or two, sometimes 10, depending on what's going on, and then choosing how I want to respond. I learned this in corporate America as a young person in corporate America, a young female in corporate America, back in the day, in a always male-dominated, and not dominated, there were just more men in business than women back in the days when, all the women didn't have to work, and all of us didn't have to work like we do now. There were mostly men in the workforce, and they could support their family based on what they made back then. The world changed a lot, and things got really crazy. And I actually think it was a better time. It was a better time for families. It was a better time for family culture, society, etc. This whole fast-paced thing. Okay, here I'm off on a tangent. The whole fast-paced thing where we have to do more, faster. Everything has to be immediately available to us, etc. It is a little bit mind-boggling and a little bit overwhelming sometimes. I don't get overwhelmed by it, but I just look at it and I shake my head. I remember going to the grocery store and I'd look around, and just the explosion and proliferation of everything and all the options and all the choices that people had to make, it's a lot. I remember that was profoundly one of my first aha moments about, the availability of so many things to us that actually it's almost too much in some cases. So how does emotional well-being, emotional health, and emotional intelligence help us to be a better human being and to grow and build and supersize our business? Well, number one, it increases and improves our relationships. It enhances them because we become better communicators, better boundary setters, better humans, and we don't just fly off the handle at every little thing that trips our trigger. Because guess what? So many things trip us up and trip our triggers, right? And make us respond and react in ways that we might not want to respond and react. It enhances our relationships in that we don't have arguments. We don't say a mean thing or a wrong thing just because it's the first thing that popped into our head. Do you ever do that? Sometimes I do. I try not to. I used to do it a lot more often than I do now. It enhances our decision making, and better decision making gets us better results in both our personal life as well as our professional life. Whether you own your own business and are trying to grow and build and supersize that, or you're helping someone else to grow and supersize their business as an employee and a part of that organization. Emotional intelligence increases our resilience. If we have the ability to experience our emotions and then respond in a way that feels right for us and good for us and makes the world a better place, it enhances and increases our resilience. It also, they've done studies and shown that emotional intelligence helps our physical health, helps us feel less stress, helps us sleep better, helps us form better relationships with. All these things are interconnected, right? It increases our confidence. If we know that we can handle no matter what comes down the pipe emotionally, it enhances our confidence. I remember early on in my corporate career, a gentleman cut off his finger on the production line. And my first response was, oh my God. But then I took a deep breath and I said, okay, we need to handle the situation. And that was probably the first, or not the first time, but one of the first really memorable times for me that I learned the power of setting my emotions aside, dealing with the situation at hand, and then later on I could come back and I could revisit the emotional freak outness of that whole situation. So got through the whole situation, ended the day, took him to the hospital, got his finger sewn back on, found the finger first. And then after I went home, I think I probably had a beer or a wine and just sat down and said, okay, that was freakishly scary, but look what happened by not freaking out, because everybody else is freaking out. By me not freaking out and taking charge of the situation. And so I think I've tried to live my life that way. I don't always succeed, especially with my granddaughters and my kids, because, you know, you're so tightly emotionally. But that impacts our relationship, right? If I don't respond in a way that's appropriate, emotionally intelligent, and sets a good example for them, then how would I ever expect them to respond in ways that are less than charming? All right, love to know how you feel about this particular topic, how it's impacted you, how has emotional health, emotional well-being, and emotional intelligence impacted you, your life, your career, and of course, we'll spend a whole month talking about this in the Be a Better You annual challenge this year. All right, have an awesome day, and I'll of course be with you tomorrow.